All right. Hello, everybody. My name is KonceptionSR, and I'm very, very excited to be here for Undefined Behaviour 2. Running two games back to back. Two of one of my favorite games, and one is another game that we'll get into that game a little bit afterwards. But first, we got one of my favorite games of all time, Bugsnax, here in front of us, and we're going to be running the any percent category. I'm running it on PS5 console, but it is also runnable on the PC. And it will be on Steam later this year at some point, so that'll be awesome. We're gonna be running the any percent category, so it's pretty short. Let's see. I'm gonna go. I have a color choice here. I think I'm gonna go with green. Green's my favorite color, so let's go with that. Time is a little weird on this, so instead of we don't start time on new game, we start it as the first cutscene loads in. So I kind of have to kind of guess the countdown. So I'm gonna do my best, but we're gonna get right into it. 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, that was actually pretty good. That was like right on. I was right on. Yeah, so welcome to Bugsnax. If you're unfamiliar with what Bugsnax is, it's exactly in the title. They're kind of bugs and they're kind of snacks. So we're gonna see a lot of little critters running around here that we're gonna be able to catch. Now, because this is the any percent category, unfortunately, we will not be catching as many as I would like, but it's still gonna be a very, very fun speed run. We start off right away here, the hardest jump in the game, which I nail, of course. And we're gonna do some hopping, and then we're gonna walk on in the invisible barrier here, as you can see. Hop on over, and this skips a cutscene that's about 3 minutes long, right off the top. We hop down here, we see Filbo, we say hi Filbo, and we say bye Filbo as we hop on over to these rocks here. We're going to be doing a continuation of the intro skip where we skip all of Filbo's quests to get on over into the next area early. And that was pretty good. That went pretty fast. As you can see here, a lot of movement is going to be based on kind of like parkour and scaling geometry here, except for this section. No matter the category, Garden Grove here, which is the section we just entered, cannot be skipped in any way. We've actually found ways to get out of bounds and get over towards where the barrier is to load into the next zone, but for whatever reason, that load zone will not trigger unless you complete all of the tasks you need to. So no matter the category, we have to do this as intended, kind of, but you're gonna see I'm gonna do it not as intended fully here. So first we're gonna run over here, we're gonna grab some ketchup, we're gonna throw one there, grab two more, I'm gonna hit this tree with ketchup, and I'm gonna hit the shishka bug with ketchup. Hopefully that hits. And then I'm gonna try a really cool trick here. Let's see if I can get it. Oh yeah, so we call that Fast Rider. I'll explain that a little bit more. Let me just make sure that I jump down here and don't miss any cycles, except I missed the shishka bug, so that's interesting. I got it at least, but now the bunger is going to be a little bit more complicated. So a little off the rails here, but we can fix it. We can fix it. Get over here, bunger. So what I did here, let's see, and then now I just need you to go over there. Yep, there we go. Easy fix, easy fix. So we did a lot right in a row there. So let's start with Fast Rider first. So if I'm very quick on the timing and very precise with my placement of the trap, I can actually catch a Frider, which is a French fry bug snack, through the floor there. It actually is on the cave that's right below me. But if I'm fast enough with my cycle, I can actually stand on top of my trap and shove it through the floor and capture it that way. It's kind of hard to do. You have to be pretty quick with your timing. And then you also have to be pretty precise with the location of the trap itself. So I was able to do that. That saves me about 5 or 6 seconds over capturing it normally. I missed my catch-up throw on the shishka bug. What that tends to do is that first bunger that I was attracting over would get that shishka bug and stun it, so I don't really have to worry about catching it with it running away. But also it brings the bunger over towards the other bunger, and they kind of attract each other. Based off of the ketchup that I flung into the tree. Basically, I flung the ketchup into the tree, and the bungers are trying to get it, but they can't reach it. Oops, I missed that.
Oh.
So,
I bet
that will enable the two bungers to run into each other. And I'm able to, when they run into each other, they stun one another, and then I'm able to catch one. And then I just have to catch a second shishka bug there, so I just very carefully lay down the trap so that I can ensure that I catch it before it runs back into the bush. Otherwise, it becomes very frustrating to deal with. You have to get a bunger to run into the bush to get it out, or you have to reload the zone, which wastes a lot of time. Well, but yeah, we bungered a little bit of the shishka bug there, but we got through it just fine. Now we're in Snacksburg. So this is like a little bit of a slow walking section, so I can explain a little bit lore-wise about what's going on. So as you can see, these are like humanoid furry creatures here. They're called grumpuses. This is Philbo specifically. We are a grumpus as well. We're actually a journalist grumpus who is here to kind of study what's going on this island, learn a little bit about Bugsnax, then learn the story of the people who live on the island. Namely, their leader, Lizbert, has disappeared. She cannot be located, which has kind of fractured the camp here. Everyone kind of went their own way after that. So that's what we're meant to do for the extent of the game. But we're going to skip through a lot of different areas, including now with another skip here that we call River Skip. Oops, nope, didn't quite reach it there. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to hop up on this fence, jump very precisely and correctly, you know, third time's a charm, as they say, on top of that roof, which is actually a lot harder to get than you would think. All right. Oh my goodness, I'm jumping just a little bit too late. There we go. There we go. Okay, so we get up on this roof here. We get up on the second roof, and then we jump across this area. Now, we're not home free yet. We got to jump up here and across, and then that actually pops us up on top of the rocks and triggers us into this next loading zone for Sugar Pine Woods. That skips about 30% of the game. We're about, 30 to 35% of the game, but we're going to continue to skip even more by doing another skip right after this called Avalanche Skip. So, we're going to walk very carefully to avoid hitting a cutscene there that would actually soft lock us based off of the tricks that we did. And we're going to hop carefully on these rocks here, double hop there, and then fall down below. And that is called the Avalanche Skip. That gets us about 90% through the game. And then we're going to hop up here. Now, this Frosted Peak is the last biome of the game that we are meant to go to. Now the game is a little bit confused. We have a whole wheel of tools that we can use, but we haven't gathered anything besides the trap. But if we're in this area, the game's like, well, you must have got here legitimately, so therefore it gives us all of the tools that we should have up to this point. So we get to utilize those a little bit. So we use a launch pad there. We place this very precisely, and we use the collision to pop through the door, and that gets us an extra 5% through the game. We're now about 95% through the game, believe it or not. That isn't to say we are 95% through the speed run, though, because we still have about, I would say, like 9 minutes or so of the speed run left. But from this point forward, this is actually like a point of no return in the game. If you played the game as you were meant to, as opposed to doing all these tricks to get out of bounds and whatnot, the game would actually warn you before you got to the point. Like, this is the point of no return. You can't like finish up any more quests or catch any Bugsnax if you pass this point. So like, make sure you're good before you move on.
What is this stuff?
And then we have this last little section here where we're in the Undersnacks, and it leads us to like this escape sequence where we need to get off the island. I won't get too much into why it is that we need to get off the island. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't played yet. But basically, we skate right through this little section. We hop down below, and you're going to see the Queen of Bugsnax, which is this amalgamation of all these giant different Bugsnax that you can encounter in the game if you play it normally, which is not how I did. But you know what? It's still fun, and I highly suggest people play this game. It's just such a wonderful game. It's often on sale. You can play it on PS4, PS5, and PC, like I mentioned. It is currently on the Epic Games Store, but it will be on Steam soon. And if you play it now, you can get in just under the wire, because in the first quarter of 2022 here, we're going to be getting some free DLC that's called the Isle of Big Snacks, where it's going to add a bunch of new Bugsnax that we haven't seen before, but it's also going to give us large versions of existing Bugsnax. So I'm pretty excited for that. It's going to be free DLC for anyone who owns the game. So highly suggest if you haven't played it yet. Mostly this is just clearing out a little cutscene for lore purposes, but there is one little piece of speed tech that occurs at the end of this cutscene. So as these two folks talk to each other, the one on the right with the eye patch, we are meant to just like talk to her in the game normally. Again, the game is a little bit confused, so I'm going to try and trigger a conversation with her as she picks me up and throws me. It gives me a small little window to try and begin like our beginning conversation. And for whatever reason, once I do that, the game gets really confused, and it actually loads this section about 4 seconds earlier than it would normally. So it saves us a little bit of time. We're back in the very beginning area. We're going to walk right by on Philbo again here, and I'm going to try a little bit of a difficult jump that'll save me a second or two if I get it. Let's see. It's a nice little parkour jump. Yes, nice. So we're going to cross the treetops here and get over. The alternative there is to fall down and then hop up on the bridge and walk up normally. It's about 1 to 2 seconds slower, but we got it. And now we are in the Gauntlet section. So this is kind of that escape sequence that I was telling you all about. So what we do in the Gauntlet here is we're going to have 6 mini games, for lack of a better term, with 2 Grumpuses each, a vast majority of who you have not met yet because we did not play the game normally. But basically, each mini game revolves around a specific tool that we unlock during the game, but it's going to be used in a different way than we would have normally. So for example, this first game we have here utilizes our snack trap, but it is no longer a snack trap, it's a snack chop. So we're going to be defeating these Bugsnax as opposed to catching them. Again, I won't really go into why that is. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but yeah, play this game. Play this game. I'm going to throw that up here just to be safe. I think it was fine. Yeah, should be good. Cool. And as that one is finishing, I can begin my movement towards the next one. This one, so that is actually a snack grappler by default, but now you can see it's got a nice little boxing glove on the end. So it's no longer grappling, it's actually gonna be punching away. For this game, you're meant to be taking them head on, but if you jump on the side, you can defeat them a lot faster. And then we're gonna be doing some fun stuff here a little bit. So first, I gotta continue fighting these donuts. Trigger this part a little early. Aim down at the ground here and get these as they're spawning. This will open up, and then instead of hitting them forward, we're going to hit them towards these folks. It is considerably faster to do it that way. Ooh, I got an unfortunate thing here. So the reason why we do that is, as you can see, once they are hit, they explode into several smaller Bugsnax. And the reason why we hit them at these folks here is that when they explode, they will actually do us a good service here and eat them, a good chunk of them, as opposed to me having to punch them all individually. What had happened there, though, is when one of them exploded, it landed into the surrounding geometry of the area, and it's actually in a place where I cannot reach it or defeat it of any kind. So I have to wait until the game forgives me enough and just defeats it on its own. Because it cannot get to them to be eaten, it cannot get to anywhere in reach of me. So that's a little bit of an unfortunate thing that can happen sometimes, but you know, this is a marathon run, so you gotta expect the unlucky parts. This section is actually inconsequential almost entirely. I actually don't even have to defeat the Bugsnax here at all if I don't want to. I could actually let them fall and it would not waste any time. Besides the last wave, you want to defeat the last wave as fast as possible so the game ends faster. But like all of these like little cookie Bugsnax, they all spawn on a cycle. So even if I didn't defeat them, they would still spawn at the same times. But you know, it's way more fun to play something than it is to not play something, right? So I throw down my little tripwire there so they run into it. This is the last wave here. There's gonna be a log that's thrown right here in a second. And then, like I said, we want to defeat this last wave as soon as possible. But while we're waiting for that last wave to hit, I'm going to try and wedge myself here into these wood planks. And that just saves me about a second or so because I'm that much closer to the next game while the cutscene is playing. So it saves me a lot of time. This next section is by far the hardest. It's the most precise, both in terms of time and location. As you can see, I'm going to be flinging barrels at Bugsnax. But if I do it really effectively, I'm going to be able to do it super fast. So I'm going to focus on that. I'm just going to have a little quiet time. And then I'll kind of explain what it is that we're doing after. All right. So far, so good. Okay. I think that's good. Yep, very good actually. One more of this wave. A little early? Nope, we're good. That's good. That's still good. Good. All right. One last wave. I think that's good. Yes. All right. So that was actually perfect. That is the fastest you can do that. So as you can see, but aside from the last wave there, They all come in waves of 3, right? So the game itself, like if you play it normally, is really not that hard. You can actually individually target the Bugsnax and defeat them one-on-one, so it's not too bad. But what we decided to do there to speed it up a little bit is that we want to defeat the waves with 1 barrel because that's the fastest that we can do it. So obviously that involves not only placing the barrels in a position to do so, but timing it so that all the Bugsnax are close enough to each other that they will be taken out in the same explosion radius of the barrel. So it's about positioning, but it's also about timing. And I was able to successfully do that for every wave. You can actually, on the Grape Skeeto waves on that one, you can actually shoot them too early too, which will still destroy them, but will throw off your pattern because there'll be residual, like whatever's in the barrels, like juice or whatever you want to call it, that will, for some reason, stick around. Let's just wait here on that one. It'll for some reason stick around, and it will defeat the middle Bugsnax of that wave the next round, which means that you can't target that middle one, which is mainly the one we do target, and thus you can't get them close enough to defeat the whole wave. It kind of ruins the whole deal. Okay. So yeah, that one was pretty self-explanatory. We have a spiky ball that we roll around and we defeat Bugsnax, and the patterns are always the same, so I know exactly where they're going. So none of it is surprising to me. So there's not really much to say here. And then we have the last mini game of the Gauntlet here, which is to fling some special sauce to make some Bugsnax run into each other. For some reason, this is the only cutscene in the mini game that we can't just mash through. So enjoy Wambus and Triffany here talking to each other.
Just a matter of life and death is all.
All right, so now we get some sauce here. We're gonna fling it. Again, the spawns are the same every time. So we're going to fling it in a position that is optimal, which is basically, the closest that they can run into each other, the closest focal point. There we go, that's pretty good. Here, and then there's gonna be some spawns here and here. And then there's going to be one more wave of each of those. And no run is complete unless you try and shoot Wambus with some sauce. I don't make the rules. That's just how it goes. Yeah, you simply must. All right, and that's actually the gauntlet completed there. The last thing we have to do is just run up to the ship here. Let's see. There's a little graphical glitch that can occur here. Let me see if we get it. It's actually probably a slower glitch. We didn't get it. So what happens there is because the path that I take to get up to the ship, I come at it at an angle as opposed to going straight on, which is what you normally would do if you took the path like intended. And because I come at it at an angle, the game like force walks me, and sometimes it will force me into a corner as opposed to on that ramp, and it wastes time getting me on the ship, which wastes like a second or two. But we didn't get it there. I will say time is coming up relatively soon, probably in the next 50 seconds or so. So we're coming up on it already. This is Bugsnax any percent. Any Bugsnax run is going to end with the Gauntlet. It's an unskippable section of the game. We've tried, trust us, we've tried so much, but we cannot skip any mini game, or we can't even do them out of order if we wanted to. For whatever reason. So another thing that makes your run entirely valid is you're going to grab a shell, you're going to hold it, and then you just gotta let it ride with Filbo there.
No,
all right.
I know.
A little extra dialogue there.
Great.
All right, and then we're going to go up here. We're going to meet our journalist boss, who we would have met at the beginning of the game, but we skipped the intro, and then mash through some text, and that'll be time. All right. So get ready on the clock.
Don't worry, you're fine.
And time. And there we are. That's Bugsnax. I'm still going to be joining you all for the next run anyway, so I won't do too many shout outs here. But for specifically Bugsnax, a few things I want to point out. One, if you like this speedrun, you'd like to learn how to speedrun it, we do have a Discord and a subreddit even, so you can share your clips. The subreddit is r/Bugsnax speedrunning. And if you go on over to speedrun.com/Bugsnax, you can get the Discord invite to hop on in and join us. We have a lot of fun categories, including a new category that I worked on with my good friend Ness _ that's called All Bosses. So it has a lot of these like cool skips in it, as well as fighting some bosses in the game, which is a lot of fun. You didn't get to see those in this run. So come on by there. We're a lovely, lovely community, and we always love new runners. Also, if you haven't played this game already, it just please play it. Not only is it beautiful, like aesthetic wise and the art style, but it's one of the best games that I've seen in terms of like accurate representation of LGBTQIA2 plus folks. Just a lot of lovely characters and relationships in this game that we obviously don't get to see in the speedrun. So please play this game and please support the developers, Young Forces, in any way you can, because they are just a wonderful group of humans. Other than that, I'll do the rest of my shoutouts after the next run. So I believe we're gonna cut to intermission, so don't go anywhere. And I'll get set up for my next run, which is definitely a game technically. So we'll see you in a few moments.